Today, I want to talk about AAA game optimization. Okay. This is a phenomenon that I think has been lost in the ether somehow. Well, I kind of know how, but AAA game optimization used to be an insane flex. Like every game had it. It was something they bragged about. I remember when you could buy a game and it just worked out of the case. Like you slide in the CD and it worked. You put it in your PS4 and it worked. You bought a game on PC that was a AAA title, like for example, The Witcher 3, and it worked. But apparently, that was just a mythical golden age lost to time. These days, buying a AAA game feels like pre-ordering or an early access beta, except you're paying $70 for the privilege of being an unpaid QA tester. There was a time when game optimization was a flex. Studios used to brag about how their game could run on a potato and still look good. The developers worked within limits. You had one disc, one console, maybe even a PC, and if it didn't run well, players noticed immediately, and you had no day one patch to bail you out. Fast forward to today, where every major release feels like it is measured in patch sizes and not innovation. Half the time, the first question people ask isn't, is it fun, but does it run well? Optimization has gone from a selling point to an afterthought for many of these companies. However, PC fans or console fans would rather it be a forethought, a front thought. And the reason why I say this is because I feel, and the reason why I'm making this video is because I'm pissed, first of all. But every AAA game I feel that has been released within the past 2 years has had game optimization issues with very few exceptions. And I know a lot of the time they like to blame the engine. Okay, that's their number one scapegoat, is the engine. I'm telling you right now, the game optimization problem isn't the fault of the engine. It's the fault of the companies. For example, they have to meet deadlines, right? Because games are shipped to meet quarterly earnings. Plot twist, I know, very hard to understand that. Not when they're finished. So they're releasing an unfinished version of the game. Basically, the way you make them change this is you say, fuck your quarterly earnings. You're going to release the game when it's finished. For example, Rockstar is a great example of doing this. They'll permanently delay a game until it is finished. I like this. Now, of course, I would like GTA 6 to come out tomorrow. But if GTA 6 isn't ready tomorrow, do not release it tomorrow to meet quarterly earnings, okay? That is why I like Rockstar. Just to point out a few examples of this, Monster Hunter Wilds released and it had very big optimization issues, okay? And while I do love the game, series, right? I've dumped over 500 hours into Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise. But when Monster Hunter Wilds comes out, okay, and it's many people's first introduction to the game series, it does us a disservice as fans if they encounter stuttering, if they encounter optimization issues, which they did. That is a problem that did happen. That's why the reviews were mixed, okay? And I made a whole video series based on it because I was so mad. Borderlands 4 recently came out. I ain't calling it Borderlands 4, it's Stutterlands 4, okay? Second is hardware complacency. With powerful PCs and next-gen consoles, some studios treat optimization like an optional seasoning instead of the main course. Basically, what I am trying to say is that these game companies realize that we have such good technology nowadays, right? That they can basically forego optimization because they know we have the hardware to keep up with new games. That shouldn't be a thing. You should be looking to innovate, not degrade based on new technology. You should be looking, for example, The Witcher 3. I'm going to keep pointing to The Witcher 3 because it's a great example of this. In 2015, they came out with The Witcher 3, okay? Now, Witcher 3 won Game of the Year, surprisingly. But The Witcher 3 was made by a AAA studio, okay? And they made the game look incredible. I want you to go, if you haven't already, I want you to go play The Witcher 3, okay? The game looks incredible. The game plays incredibly well. It is optimized really well. There's over 150 hours in the story. And it's a, I want to say 70 gigabyte game. That's a lot of story in a game size that isn't that big, right? If we look and compare this to Warzone, over 150 gigabytes is not even a story game. It is just a battle royale. And plot twist, it should not be 150 gigabytes big. It should be maximum 70 gigabytes. 150 gigabytes is simply unacceptable, okay? And thirdly, my third thing as to why they're doing this is patch culture within video games. When you can just fix it later, why fix it now? Day one patches have become industry clutches, okay? It's like they're op crunching with these patches. It's like they don't understand that this is unacceptable. That patches should be a patch. It shouldn't be a fix, okay? They should be far and few between at the start of a game, okay? Why? Because the game should be released when it's finished. That's why, okay? Now, if we were to compare this to modern games, and I'm going to solidify my reasonings, why it's not the engine, why it's just to meet quarterly earnings, why they are crutching on patches, why they have better hardware than ever, and so they abuse that fact, okay? Why? I'm going to point to some examples to point out and say why it's not always been a problem, okay? If we look at, for example, Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2 is 10 gigabytes. It's a 10 gigabyte download. You can play well over 60 hours into this game. And it is a 10 gigabyte download. You can play with friends, okay? And the game looks great. It plays great. It feels great. The story is great. If you haven't played Borderlands 2, I want you to go out. I want you to buy Borderlands 2. It's $4. It is far better than any $70 title out there right now. Maybe, I don't know if Ghost of Tsushima is still $70 on PC. But I want you to go out there. I want you to play Borderlands 2 because it is, first of all, it's $4 and you're gonna love the game. Okay, the story is great. Okay, I want you to go play that game. Okay, because it's a phenomenal title. There's a reason why the looter shooter genre in the early 2010s was so massive. Okay, and it's because of Borderlands 2. That game runs well, it plays great. Sure, it has its downfalls in some areas, but for $4 and for the fact that it was made back in 2012, it was released back in 2012, it wasn't even made back in 2012. For it being that good is what all AAA games should strive to improve upon, okay? The Witcher 3, I've said it. It looks so good. It's only 80 gigabytes. The map is massive. It's a massive open world game that you can easily sink 150 hours in. It's a phenomenal game. There are very few bugs in it. Sure, they've had years to iron it out, but on release, it was a fixed product. Everybody loved it. There's a reason it got Game of the Year. And you're gonna say, well, the game engines have just gotten bad over the years. No, they haven't. They've gotten better. Unreal Engine 5 makes it easier to make a game. It's easier to make a game now than it was ever. The constrictions you had back in the early 2010s, you no longer have. There are no excuses to have released a buggy game. Okay, these AAA companies just want to fuck you. Okay, they just want to fuck you. That is all they want to do. I'm going to point to a modern game called Expedition 33. Okay, wow, it's world class. It's world class. That's what we would say in the footballing world. But this game is not just world class. It's a piece of art. Okay, this game was made by 30 developers. Why is it so good? It was made with passion. They cared about game optimization. Let me say that again. They cared about game optimization. And what launcher did they use? What engine did they use? I'll let you know. It's Unreal Engine 5. The game looks incredible, and it was made by 30 game devs on an insanely small project, or budget, I should say, relative to other AAA games, which are also vying for that Game of the Year spot, right? Unreal Engine 5 is not the problem. The engines aren't the problem. It's not that new games are harder to make than ever, because again, Expedition 33 is a phenomenal game. I believe it came out, its MSRP was $50, and it is better than every $70 game out there right now that's been made and released this year. And that is not an exaggeration, that is a fact. I'm just going to say this. Game optimization should be a flex. It should be what you strive for in each and every game you make. You should release a finished product. You should release a game that you are proud of releasing. And this is why I say do not pre-order games anymore. Because far too many times have I been scorned by the fact that I am happy that a game's released. I want to support the team, so I pre-order the game and then they released an unfinished product. Do not pre-order games anymore. Just don't do it. Okay, these companies cannot be trusted. I do not support this idea of pre-ordering games anymore. Do not pre-order games. Okay? Do not buy games that have bugs in them, as in optimization issues, as in constant stuttering. Sure, you can stutter every once in a while. That I'm not saying like completely get rid of bugs, because they are inevitable. What I am saying is the amount of bugs, the amount of patches they need to do after release on a game to make it playable is unacceptable. Fallout 76, another prime example of that. Do not give in. Do not buy in to this bullshit that they serve to you. It is bullshit. Unreal Engine is not the problem. Okay, there's literally a slider on Unreal Engine 5.2, I believe. It's called, it gives your game what's called nanite architecture. Nanite architecture is phenomenal for game optimization. And they know this. They just want a scapegoat. And if you're uninformed, this scapegoat probably actually works. But I am here to cut through the bullshit for you. That is clearly a bullshit made up lie to fuck you, the consumer, over, because these companies do not care about your game enjoyment. They don't care. They only care about the bottom line. So hit them where it hurts. Do not buy their games. And I know today is a negative video, but there are many positive examples of this over the past couple years. Support game devs like who made the game devs who made Expedition 33, for example. Support those types of game devs. The passion. Silksong, another prime example. $20 for that game is incredible. People are literally buying the game even though they own the game, because they want to support the game devs who've made it. Why? Because it's an incredible game. They released a finished product. It's well optimized. you don't hear stuttering issues like Stutterlands 4. Without further ado today, y'all, I want to say one thing. Have a great day. And as always, junk it out.